Alright, I've decided to give up coding and start a moped rental business in the south of France. And this is a simulation of how the mopeds will be lined up on the French Riviera. Who am I kidding? This is just to test the scaling of the engine with a lot of meshes and to show off the new lighting. Give up coding. Yeah, right. So that's pretty much what I did. I just duplicated this moped mesh several times over. And as you can see, the engine still renders at 60 frames a second, and the lighting scales perfectly, so there's no slowdowns of any kind. And that's what I wanted to see, because this engine, the lighting is decoupled from the scene complexity, so there should be no slowdowns. And again, I wanted to make sure my optimizations would help in displaying a scene with so many meshes. And this is the first time I'm showing something called image-based lighting, which allows me to show physically correct lighting in the scene. So the lighting looks much more realistic than you would normally get. And it's also fairly cheap, so it should run on moderately powerful processors. And here I'm just flying through all the mopeds that I'm going to be renting out. And of course you can select each individual mesh, just like before. Go through the army of mopeds. This is the first stage in the lighting equations that I'm going to use. I'm going to be building on this to get even more sophisticated lighting, but for now this is a fairly good attempt. And it pretty much shows that with image-based lighting you can get fairly good results despite my atrocious abilities as an artist, because I've really picked horrible parameters for all the lighting and it still looks fairly good. So in the hands of an artist, I should be able to go to town with this and get even better lighting than what I'm able to achieve. And this is only lit with one directional light, so you can get pretty good results just with one light. And of course you can start changing the direction of the light, and it'll react in the editor, which is another thing I wanted. I wanted a WYSIWYG editor so that the artist could make really subtle changes to the lighting and see them as they would happen in engine. That way they can spend most of their time perfecting the lighting and getting the best results possible, and the iteration times are next to nothing. So they can make lots of changes very quickly and see the results. Also in the property editor, I've added some more parameters. For instance, I can change the intensity. Let's try not to do something stupid. Yeah, I did something stupid. That's a little too intense, but again, it's one of the properties that I offer the artists. So now that the lighting is, I guess, more of a fluorescent kind of effect. Looks horrible, but I only code. I'm not really good with lighting. Maybe I'll change something else. Oh, let's change that back. That's horrible. I could change the color. That's probably going to be... That wasn't noticeable. Let's try something really disgusting. Yeah, that's disgusting. Again, like I said, in the hands of an artist, this will be a powerful tool. In my hands, it just outlines my incompetence. So I guess I'll put that back to what it was before. Alright, that's pretty good. I can also change the light type. So if I want, I could, let's do a box light. Now everything went black because the boundaries of the box light aren't intersecting the mesh. So if I bring it down, there you can see the effect of the light. Now this light is not based on image-based lighting, and this is more just for localized lighting effects. So you won't get as good a result as with the directional lights, but you can play around with more parameters. And this will be done, you know, more for gun flashes or light bulb lights, that sort of thing. It'll be just to add to the image-based lighting solution. However, you can change some more parameters. There, you can get a sharper fall off, so you can get a nice cutoff. And what else can you do? Change the fall off exponent. And there you get a brighter light and an even sharper cutoff for the attenuation. Of course, you can also change the range of the light. Like so. Change the position. But again, this is more for the artist to be able to play around with, since they know what they're doing, or at least they know more about lighting than I do, we hope. So that was the box light, and again, I can have pretty good control over what I need done. Of course, you can't, the rotation will not work with the box lights, so I've started disabling that, where certain gizmos will not work with certain light types. Let's see, what else can I do? I'll change it to a spotlight. That's pretty small. I'll change the range. Yeah, there we go. Change the angle. Let's go for 100. That's pretty good. Let's change the inner angle. Give it 50. So that's more like what you would see in a sort of flashlight, that type of light. And this one you can rotate. And as always, you can play with the parameters. I also support ambient lighting and point lights. And of course, if you want the directional light, you can always go back to that. Yikes. Let's change the intensity. Or we could lower it, I guess. Let's see what that'll look like. So now we're back to the directional light that we had before. So this is pretty much a showcase of the new lighting that I have running in the engine. And to recap, it scales fairly well, and it should be able to run the type of game that I'm eventually going to design with this engine. And everything works as before, so if I want to scale this, we'll call this the Shaquille O'Neal version, since he can't probably ride a regular sized moped. There, nice big one just for him. So that's pretty much what I have to show with the lighting. And this is the first pass at the lighting. Eventually I'm going to be adding to this so that I can get even more realistic and physically accurate lighting for the engine. But again, this is a good pass. So stay tuned for the next video, and I'll show that one when it's ready. Thanks, and bye.